Does this go live?
Yep. All right, let me go make sure that's showing on my side and no one.
She like called me on my fucking line today. I was like confused. We were watching the two lines, and I thought she was the other one. So I was like sneaking around. I was like, what are you doing?
I'm sure we can find something to use it for. It's looking good.
Now everything is just spaceships, is no man's sky. No, it's not. It starts like dragging like an engine. No, an engine starts Minecraft.
It just needs,
Ignores the laptop. How much stuff
oh,
is it?
I sent the link a minute
Quite a
ago.
bit.
Yeah. So if I can magically, well, you can log into my Discord. We're gonna magically pick it up.
I wish the dimensional doors were more interesting. I wish there was more thing with Limbo, like a scheme. I wish there was like, I wish like you did this. Limbo, you die in Limbo. I wish like everything.
First year has more fun.
Frederick Douglass.
All of.
The lot for me.
If you want a really scary narrative.
Yeah, he's spying on us.
I
The
just
narrative
like
of Earth
Limbo,
Gordon Pitt.
the bigger eye in the,
Good.
on the sky, and then
It's a long form, it's a book by Gordon Pitt.
Oh,
Scary.
yeah, close.
But I wish you could do this, I wish you
Yeah,
could find a way.
I'm sure I do.
I think you can find a way out.
Did I break
But
this?
it's boring, I think you almost both that. Boring,
I was he was, wandering the streets of Baltimore.
He's just got a really strange eye. That's crazy. That's a lot.
Who are we talking about? Yikes.
So his last sort of words was saying.
Of course, the computer was gonna make you like stay on it.
Really?
And then he died on my birthday.
Yeah. So
So I figured I gotta go back to this party where he was on
yeah.
a big way.
Is it just a local legend that he was in this prison?
I don't know.
People say that around here. I don't know if it's true. He was definitely in a naval prison.
Was he in the Navy?
He was in a naval prison. He
He
did something wrong.
attempted to enter the Navy and then was in it for about 3 months and then got to finish his
He was like a little-
Just shall turn a window open somewhere.
Yeah, they did that.
I'm gonna steal this though.
We're never gonna get everyone to go to one meeting.
Are you serious? I have to.
Yeah, we're literally never going to.
I just told Kristen that these are schedules. Their schedule is Monday, Thursday, Friday.
Literally.
Even never
If they suggested Wednesday, I would have been like, me, Jack, Roland, and Durgan say no. Monday is sports day.
Wow, Will, you were hungry.
I need.
What? Is that all you?
Not all. Now I get to start.
Pretty much.
Mostly.
equal contribution, but I just eat fast.
I was gonna be more impressed than unusual.
No, no.
You know, with your rhythm numbers.
No.
There are lots of
The gym before this got regained.
I'm just.
I'm not really.
Jax.
I mean, I'm usually.
No, you usually are picking up. So I've come to assume.
Right, just play the odds.
Yeah, they haven't texted in the chat, so I don't know.
Did that make any sense?
I'm
Yes.
entirely based on the people replying.
Want to read it one more time? Think about what it is.
Okay. No, I just dashed it off.
Yeah, but it's super clear, right? It explains the progression and, you know, the ends of the spectrum where this doesn't really matter that much. It really matters over here
Yeah.
and how the questions matter.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get to. Thank you.
Like, I just,
It's got potential.
yeah. I just, before I really went in on the word choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Writing about math is hard.
I would imagine.
You have to be, it's unusually precise. Yeah, you gotta really. Yeah.
When you die, you turn into a monster.
A lot of these lots of
All the music.
sensors. Don't understand.
So, we had a really dumb idea where Drew's making like a water house
Hey, Max.
Are Leo definitely coming?
I just need.
Yeah, they just had Indian food at my house.
Docking station.
I just need to frame for like the wheel.
Nice. Yeah, no, they're you know, they're here.
Oh, okay.
What if you were
Carrying drinks
stationary
in a
and
bag?
you could pick it up and place it, like turrets and a tower fence?
Very disoriented.
Yeah, that's weird. Who sells sealed smoothies?
Mr. Bush.
Oh, that's nice. 'Cause my smoothie would have spilled everywhere by now.
You described like a lot of things.
No, because he.
No, I think they're. They sneak in as like mini date night, like just between the end of school and beginning of class. Emily looked good though.
No, but I've seen some bad.
Yeah, she's done a little white.
Yeah, we're starting a fundraiser tomorrow for our club that we haven't done anything with. So
Send a link
I will. If
on the
you-
Discord.
$5.
On the Discord.
The bracelet.
You'll get a lot of $5. Just put on
It just
the-
wasn't.
It's gonna lose its mind.
And it's good because
Wow. I don't have a Venmo because Anthony got thrown off Venmo. Because you have to put a reason for every payment.
You gotta put like a little, just put a emoji.
Yeah, no, so he was impersonating like an Iraqi terrorist for a while because he got tired of the reasons. So, but it was obviously, I mean, it was like for weapons of mass destruction. I mean, it wasn't anything personal. It was just totally ridiculously
So did he put for weapons of
mass destruction, and they like threw him off. They're like, dude, you can't use Venmo anymore. He's like, I don't care.
Well, just like prove it right now.
Well, because it was like, you know, I sent my friend $7.10. Like, why? Like, but- yeah, I mean, just, yeah, I know. He thought that being forced into the social aspect of it was inappropriate.
Most people just put an emoji in for like.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have $3 in my account.
It's gonna just learn to wiggle and just like shake
That's it, I'll have
everywhere.
lots.
I don't have Venmo. I have Zelly. Is it Zelly? Which is the way parents send money to kids.
Yeah.
You can text money from your Bank of America account.
Wait, what?
Zelly? I can text people money. That's why I send money to Carissa. Instead of bringing money, I just texted her.
The problem with my shit with that game, weird, like,
I'm gonna have a paper towel.
did, like,
They
how far
send
the
flowers.
robot went. So it would like fall over and it would be determined like, he went this far. But it would never learn how to fall. It was like a fall move. You should, we should make Keith stop the project. I don't know what to do.
Andre's been all sniffles.
How long are we doing?
Big Squash Tournament is this weekend. So that's a thing, and he's got an unpaid internship at a hedge fund, so he's liking that. And he got a real advisor. It's like when you get to a certain level, they give you like the math guy. So it's good. I think this is progressive. Just re-registered for courses for second semester. It's kind of fun. He's passed anywhere I ever went. So he teaches me about stuff sort of on the side, and it's interesting. But he's beyond me. Hey, welcome back. Nice to see you.
Oh god, you're so stupid.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
That's my dad's really
No, it was rolling. There was
He's like, oh, like, how is it? And also,
It was like
he'll be like,
someone throws an object like this.
like,
Yeah.
what do you
And
mean?
what is the
Right,
velocity
then I feel
when
like,
it hits the ground?
and we have to give a direction. And mom is just like,
Down.
But
yeah.
yeah, no, we got math on both sides. How about we start the what do you even call it? No, that's good. The video. We're gonna start. Oh, it's rolling. Oh, good. It's got me and Amanda chatting as usual. Cast. You can hang up here if you want to. You can go back there if you want to. That's probably a good idea to run it.
I'm gonna Chromecast me waiting for what to be
All right, guys, I got this totally brilliant notebook that I prepared for you. I know, it took me like a long time. The link to the notebook is in the Discord, or it's in your email. Either way works.
Yes, we do. We're not infiltrating the Russian consulate. You know,
And yeah, we're gonna write our own code a little bit. I know.
Who's on the right screen?
Huh?
Who's on the right screen?
I have no idea. That's like a
Who's
Quizlet?
doing health verbs?
What?
Who's doing health verbs?
Oh, that's me.
You on the screen with it.
I'm sorry.
All right, so before we get started, could you faint in Spanish, please?
I faint. Dese arseme say.
Faint are.
Arseme say. If you say, dese.
All right, here's where we're going to start. Ready? We're not even going to use the computer. You ready?
Oh boy.
Let's say we were playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Again?
Yeah, I know, it's all we ever did.
Back to it.
All right, I'm the dungeon master, and you're trying to find your way through a maze, okay? We're doing Dungeons and Dragons, okay? So I say you're in a room, and there's passages and walls on two sides. What do you do?
How far, I'm gonna walk forward.
Sure, okay, so you walk forward, and now you've got a path, you've got a wall on the left, and a turn to the right, and you might say, right, okay. So,
Whip out my shoe.
was that a D&D thing? No? All right. So if you could see where you were going, you might say, oh, that's not so hard. I'll just go places where there aren't things in my way, right? But if anybody, did you ever play D&D, really old school D&D, where you actually get a piece of graph paper? Has anyone ever done this? Yeah. Because sooner or later, yeah, all right, Gordon and I are like, yeah, this for years. You're going to lose your way, right? So you don't want to lose your way, so what do? So what do you do with the graph paper? Come on in. We're imagining we're playing Dungeons and Dragons. Okay.
It's even more imaginary than actually playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh,
You
okay.
need my car?
I love you. It's so bad. I.
Okay, so there you go. All right, so we're playing Dungeons and Dragons. It's old school. You got a piece of graph paper. You're stuck in a maze. What do you do on the graph paper?
Draw the maze.
Mapping the maze as you do it.
Of course, right? Because you don't want to go down the same blind alley twice. It's annoying, right? And I would be like unduly amused because I'm the dungeon master, and you'd be like, yeah. So you draw a picture. Right? So now, same thing, but this time your character is blindfolded. Okay, so now you're in a maze, and you're blindfolded. What do you do?
Use your hand. Keep your right arm on the right wall and keep walking.
No, you gotta keep both.
So
Bring it out.
your penance for that is to tell me mathematically, what is that algorithm called? There's a name for that class of algorithm.
The right hand rule.
It's something in something. That's physics.
Got it.
No, this is math. I'll give you the first word, you give me the second word. Divide and
Conquer.
that's correct. Okay, you can divide and conquer. Will's absolutely right. You can divide and conquer the maze. You can put your hand on the right-hand wall, and eventually you'll visit the entirety, right? And with a little recursion, you can find a better path and so on. Okay, but we didn't know that in my case, okay? We're just going to walk into stuff, right? We're going to do the machine learning approach and walk into stuff. So if you had a piece of graph paper and you're on a square, right, on the graph paper, tell me which way to go first. Just pick a direction.
Up.
Down.
You go to the right, and I bang into something.
Inwards.
What are you going to write on the graph paper?
A line.
Right. And I go to the left, and I move. You're going to put an open space, right? So today's goal, we'll see if we get there, is to write a program that never repeats the same mistake twice. Okay? So just to remember, in machine learning, square one is don't do dumb things over and over, and then square two is when you discover something good, figure out how to find it. So we're just on square one here, okay? Don't make the same mistake twice, okay? So now, we don't have graph paper inside the computer, but what do we have that kind of looks like graph paper?
Matrix.
A matrix, right? Has anyone ever seen or not, who has never seen a matrix or an array?
I've seen the Matrix.
In-
On fire? Yes, I have.
All right. Good. Everybody know what a matrix looks like? It looks like a piece of graph paper, right? You put the numbers in the boxes, right? So now here's the hard question, and now you guys who have heard it before can't answer. What are the dimensions of that matrix to represent the graph? I'm sorry, the maze. Or, for starters, what are the dimensions of the maze? Anyone remember?
Well, it's right there. So.
That's right. Knowing you might not remember. Right. This could be like the goldfish. This could be totally new for you. All right, you guys in the back. What are the dimensions of the maze? 4 by 4, yeah. So on graph paper, it would be 4 by 4. Good. But in my machine learning world, right, what was the first move I made to the, doesn't matter, sure, let's go right. And it didn't go well, right? So if right didn't go well, what am I going to write in that box, that first cell of that matrix, to tell myself?
Bad.
Well, it's a little difficult, right? Because,
Negative.
well, sure, but where am I going to put that? Let's just think about this, okay? So if I had, this is my picture of the maze, right? There's only one box here. How many moves can I make from this box?
1, 4.
4, right? So now there is more than one right answer to the question, but how should we represent from here this very first move? Right? So either we could put something in the box that can represent 4 different things, right? That would work. Or what else could we do? So how many dimensions does the problem really have? That's my question.
4 times 4 times 4.
Yeah. So the question, the answer to how many dimensions does the problem really truly have, right? It's not just, we're going to use machine learning talk for a minute. It's not just the states. So the states of the maze are, I'm in one of 16 places. There's only one of me. So it's really only got 16 states, right? I can only be in one of 16 places. But from each of those 16 places, how many things can I try to do? 4. North, south, east, or west, right? 4. So again, in fancy words, the state action space, which is the combination of all the states and all the actions, is 4 by 4 by 4. Okay. So we're not going to use a lot of terminology, but that terminology matters because when somebody says, what state are you in, it's like, you know, if you're playing checkers or backgammon, you look at the pieces, right? So on a checkerboard, it's not very complicated. You look at the pieces. There's one here, there's one there. But then when you try to combine that with all the actions, it gets really big, right? In backgammon, I think it gets to be 10 to the 20th. I mean, it gets really, chess is bigger than the universe. It's like 10 to the 40th. It's big. So we're going to keep things small just for now so that we don't lose track of what we're doing. We'll work our way toward modestly bigger. I'm glad the corgi, I was missing the corgi. All right, thank you. Whoever brought the corgi, Jack, thank you for bringing the corgi. All right, we're going to make you name the corgi. So in order to give this a try, right, I want to do a little bit of figuring out just how in the world we even make an array, right? And then what are we going to do with the code? Who has code from last time? How did we get through the maze last time? What did we do? Yeah, we just stumbled around, right? Random, right? It worked. Sure. So now this time, every time we make a misstep, we have to make an entry in our array to say, you know, that was not a good idea. Okay? Why don't we do that by hand? Let's start by just doing that by hand. Let's try to just make an array at all. So does everybody find the blank notebook?
Yeah.
Okay. Is someone absolutely dying to come up here? Or I'll start up here if no one wants to.
Everybody loves to
Come on, Emily.
The enthusiasm.
All right.
I apologize. Well, see, you weren't here for D&D where I literally spent a good 10-minute try and hit like 2 kids. It's okay, that's once about half back here. Brace yourself.
All right, so make yourself a cell that has code in it. Yeah, no, so if you hover right in this very strange little region right here where I'm pointing, see, code, plus code. Nice, okay. So in order to make things like matrices, we're going to use a math library called NumPy that everyone uses for everything, because it's like the magic math library that does everything, NUMPY, okay? And the way we're going to make sure it's available is we're going to say import NumPy. This is just a Python thing, right? And we're going to call it NP because everyone does. So import NumPy as NP.
Like the word as.
As. That's a Python NP, like NumPy. Enter. Good.
Wait, do we have to do the 1?
I think if you have line numbering on, it'll show the 1, and if you have line numbering off, it won't show the 1. But Emily did not type the 1. The 1's not part of the code. Go ahead and run that. It'll just do nothing.
NumPy?
Yep. Oops. So go ahead and say sign in or something. Sign in required. Interesting. Go ahead, sure. Be me. See if it goes in there. Oh, hang on. Let me type that for you.
How many characters is it? Let's see.
You don't know his password?
I'll make them brute
Let's
force.
try to code that one.
Yeah, I'll try to brute force the Michael password.
Now you do.
Yes or no?
Yeah, you got to type import NumPy again. Huh?
It looks like
That's what this one.
Right. And then let's go to the next line, and let's just make NumPy do something, okay? In this case, let's try np dot, you ready? Random.random.
Do I need capitals in there?
Nope. np.random.random paren. And let's run that, because that's about as obscure looking thing as you can imagine, but you're going to run into this all the time. So we hang out for a sec. Google's got to wake up and realize. And eventually, did I get this? Run this one. There you go. Got a random number. Okay. So this is the hardest coding part of the whole night. What the heck does all that mean, right? Right? Import says to Python, I'm going to use somebody's code. And Python has this vast, like, incredible worldwide code like ecosystem, and there's just a bazillion things, of which NumPy is one. Right? So I said, hey, I'm going to use NumPy. Guys, quiet down. I'm going to use NumPy, okay? And then what the heck is np.random.random? Well, np refers to NumPy. Random is the module within NumPy that does random things. And then random is the name of the method that makes a random number. I picked it on purpose because most people find that at first to be a little obscure. Like, why do I have to type random twice? But the random module does lots of stuff. So if you just change random.random to random.randint.
Is there a random string method?
Maybe? Go ahead, try to run it.
That'd be kind of fun.
So now tell randint of 5, give it a number. Sure. Now run it. Sure, it gave you a random number. Up to 5, good. So NumPy is really happy to make arrays, and I can honestly say I don't quite remember how, but I'm going to guess. Okay, I'm going to try np.array. Or something. Probably, let's do np, I'm sorry, I lied to you. It does array, right? But I want to do zeros, because I want my array to be full of zeros. np.zeros. It does like a lot of things. There you go, zeros, paren. Now, inside the paren, I have to give it the size of the zeros that I want. For instance, I could give it inside the paren again, because that's the size is a thing, and just do 4, 4. And hit run. Hit go. OK, I got it right. Does anybody remember how to index into an array? Like, I want to put a number in there. Yeah, to give it, and so in an array, you're correct. They're called indices, which are the 2 little numbers, right? Right? Row and column, yeah. So this time, Emily, on line 3, let's assign that into a variable that we can then use. So, like A equals NP zeros of 4, 4. So now our array is called A, right? And then on the next line, right, let's set a value, A of, you may have to use square braces for indices. A of something, something. Doesn't matter. 0 to 3. You can't go out of bounds. A of 2, 2, sure, anything. Maybe not. Might work. I think if you.
That wasn't the problem.
Do I need this?
Yeah, I think that'll work. Yep, equals. But you know, you brought up, go ahead, make it 999 or something.
Are those different brackets?
Yes, those are square braces that are separate. Okay.
I knew that from my tic-tac-toe college.
All right, and then print A at the bottom and run it and see what you get.
Whoops.
And then I'm going to show you how much, oops, you need parens around the A. That's fine.
Oh boy.
There you
it
go.
is.
Look at that. You put a number in the array. Now, to show you how much intuition you have, your way is going to work too, I think. So let's try the next line, A of and do square brace, and then do round brace 3, 2. Because see, 3, 2 are a thing. It's called a tuple. Equals something and run it again, and that may work. And then print A at the bottom.
Wait,
It's gonna be okay.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, there you go.
Oh,
Bo-
okay.
Both ways worked.
Interesting.
It's very Python, right? It tries so hard to help you, you get confused. You're like, didn't I do it the other way last time? And the answer would be yes, right? It still worked this way. Yeah, it's just desperate to be helpful. That's actually going to come up a little later because does anybody remember we're about to do it ourselves? When we run the maze, it gives us feedback, right? And some of that feedback are our coordinates, which are going to be the indices to get into the array, right? So by hand, we're going to take a step, make a mistake, and try to find a place to put it inside the array. Okay? So let's make a whole new code cell. That one's fun.
Wait, I have an error.
Okay, what's your error?
I think that was on the right.
So,
Hold on. Oh, yeah, the reason you have an error, no. Oh, you're out of bounds. So array indices are 0-based. Yeah, you're out of bounds. Does everyone know what that means? So if the array is of dimension 4, the indices are 0, 1, 2, 3. No 4s, okay? 4 won't work.
Wait, can you explain that again?
Yes, in all programming languages that I'm aware of, every array setup is 0-based. Yeah. The reason that works like that, when you try to traverse the array, which is a very common thing to do, you start with 0 and then you add an offset. Okay? So the initial offset, you don't go to the first thing, you go to the 0th thing. And then you add from 0. It makes it all come out even. Okay? Okay. All right, so
Why is there a point?
But why does mine not have 999 in both?
why is there a point?
Slash mark, yeah.
I believe zeros by default probably generate floating point numbers.
Like even with the
Yeah, because once zeros generated floating point numbers, Python goes, oh, the whole thing's floating. So the NumPy is saying, oh, I think you want floating point numbers. Okay, let's walk in the maze. Ready? Do you remember how to make a maze? Just say something equals maze paren paren, right?
Oh, I just want to overwrite.
Yeah, exactly.
do I need to?
no, it's not.
Big deal. What I want to do is take a step. So I'd like first to reset the maze, because you should always reset stuff, and then take a step.
Is that,
M.reset would be the way we would reset the maze, because it's an object. We're not going to do any object-oriented programming of our own, but the reason it's M.reset is it is an instance of the maze. It's an object.
does that need capitals or parentheses?
Does that mean what?
Capitals or parentheses?
Capitals are what?
Does it need capitals?
Parens. It needs parens.
Okay.
It's a function. Yeah, it's a function. Okay? Now, the thing you want to do that you want to see is M.step something.
Don't we need to envision the maze first?
Well, you can if you want to. Say print M. That's fine. So say M.step something, and then, yeah, you know, Max is right. Max, you're totally right. Please, Emily, I'm sorry. Print M, M.step something, and then print M again.
Sorry.
Yep, put a print M in there. That way we'll see it. No, yeah, we'll see it. Step, 1. Make it a 1. Sure, let that run. Now, what happened to us? Oh, you might have to run the first cell. The first cell loads the maze. There you go. No, it's because it crashed.
You gotta start the top. Oh, about what that would do.
Sure, now go back down, and now you'll be good. Try that. Okay, explain to me what happened. Yeah? Presumably, action 1 happens to be south. I mean, I don't know. It worked, right? Okay. So let's say we didn't make a good step. Let's say we made a bad step. So let's do step 0. Just change the code, run it again. Here's where homework assignments get weird. It appears to have done nothing. What really happened?
It went
Well, it didn't move because we banged into the wall, right? And we would realize that if we pay attention to the return values from step. Do you guys remember that it actually returns some information about what happened, right? So when we do step 0, let's actually do print m.step 0, because it'll still do the step, but it'll also tell us what happened. Right on line 4. You can just wrap line 4 and put a print statement right up there.
Can you zoom in? It's just kind of hard to see.
Oh, yeah, hit Control plus a couple times. Thanks, Max. Oh, that's pretty big. There you go. Okay, take a look. Okay, who can tell me what those were just at the starting point now? What do those mean? So we got back, we did this thing. We took a step, we attempted a step, we got back 0, 0 as a pair, called a tuple, a -1 and a true. Take a guess.
Is that where we are?
Yes?
And then -1 is the feedback from
Which-
failing.
Which is bad.
True means that.
Game's over. Right. Good. That was good. Right? You're at 0, 0, you didn't go anywhere. -1, it was a bad idea. And true, the game's over. Okay? We're all caught up. Good. So, Emily, the last thing I'm going to ask you to do is try to create a data structure where we can make a notation that that happened. It's our graph, it's our 3-dimensional graph paper. Okay? So now, the data structure that you made earlier was 2-dimensional. I asked you to. This time I need something that's 4 by 4 by 4. Take a guess. You can always scroll back and look at your code. Hmm? Yeah, I call it an end array, because matrix implies 2D kind of to me. N-dimensional array.
Interdimensional.
All right, sorry. All right, wait. So back to the beginning. How are we going to make something that's 4 by 4 by 4? Yeah, there you go. Do it. That's exactly right. Add another 4. Awesome. Sure. Now, bring that line of code, grab it, copy it, and paste it down on your other script.
Do we need to import NumPy again?
I think it's probably still here. Interpreter's still running. So now if you were to print A at the bottom, you're going to get this awkward looking thing.
Oh, I remember this now.
Good. There it is.
Well, not really, but it's kind of.
So how do you make a 3-dimensional thing on a 2-dimensional screen, right? You just keep going, right? 4 by 4 by 4. Good. Okay. Now, before we cheat and print it in a more legible way, which I built a program to do that for you, any idea what any one of those little zeros represents, just conceptually? What is it intended to tell me?
One of the 4 possible steps you could take at any given location.
So go ahead now, someone else.
Is it like if it was a 4 by 4 by 4 cube, like
Yeah.
it's each like a data point, like a location, if you were to
Yeah. So
3D graph?
yeah. So of those 4 dimensions, right? It's my row in the maze, my column in the maze, and the action that I took. Yeah? Thinking of it a cube is exactly correct. It's in fact a cube, right? So what does that mean? That means that from 0, 0, if I take action 0, I want a -1 in that spot. Because then I can remember to not do it again. That's the sneaky place I'm going to put it. In fact, you might want to say in your code, just by hand, right? A of 0, 0, 0 equals -1. Just to remember not to do it again.
Oh, wait, do I need the square keys?
Yes, you do, because it is an array, so you definitely need square braces. And you can do brace 0, 0, 0, you can do 0, 0, 0, whichever notation you like better. Good. Equals -1. And I think you want to put line 7 below that.
Yeah, probably.
There you go. Otherwise, you're going to see zeros, you're going to be like, what?
I mean, you keep making the same mistakes.
Good, that's why you guys get along so well.
Ah!
That's okay, just hit enter, hit run.
I did not make that mistake.
What, the noise? Okay, now scroll down. There it is. Whoops. So you're -1? Okay. Now, trust me, looking at that thing is going to get super annoying super fast. Okay? Because I almost already can't remember. I mean, it's kind of easy because it's 0, 0, 0. But hey, which action in space, what's that? Like, I don't know. You could try to figure it out.
Would that be 2, 1, 3? No, 2, 1, 2.
Yeah, probably. 2, I don't know. I can't do it. So I wrote a program to do it, okay? And the program I think is called print_q, so go back to your code. And rather than saying print A, right, tell the maze to do it. So it's m dot,
Instead of this line?
instead of that line, yep. I'm going by memory. M dot, like my, M is the maze. M dot print_q. Here it is, see it? Of A. So give it paren A, print. Print Q says, I'm going to print this in a way that makes sense in this particular problem. Go ahead and scroll down. Did you run it?
No.
Oh, run it. Okay, don't forget to run it. That's better. Now, why it isn't full of zeros, and maybe I suppressed the zeros because I thought they were boring. I don't really know. But that's going to tell us for any particular state position in the maze, for any move, north, south, east, or west, what's the number. Okay, or at least I think it is. So I'm confused why I didn't print anything. And if you scroll down here, we might discover why we didn't print anything. Move to the right.
No more vectors.
I don't know. Run the whole thing one more time. Sometimes the notebooks are a little different than the rest of the world. All right, I'll figure it out in a second. Okay, so what we need to do is write a program where we can remember the things that happen in that crazy 4x4x4 thing. Yeah? So now I'm going to take over for a second. You guys are going to direct me because I want to bring back the code that does the random walk, but I don't want to just steal it from last time, right? We should be able to create that, yeah?
My thing won't show up, and I think it's because my 0 is wrong, because I've done everything over again.
Put your,
Now it's different is a 0.
go up to, cast on screen, right?
Can I look at yours?
All right, Max, so you got a maze, you reset it. Step 0, that seems okay to me.
Did you run the thing at the top of the...
Oh yeah, you got to run the very first cell and load the maze. The very top of the whole thing.
There you go.
Nice, good. Good, good, okay. So, guys, how did we do the random walk? Like, what conceptually, what do I need to do? I'll go first. I'll give somebody else a chance. I'll go first, okay? I need a maze. Now, just in English, does anybody remember how we managed this? Right, and it has a method to randomly choose a number, right? And if you don't remember what the method is and you're hacking away, you just type something and you go, oh, wait, is this it? Okay? And then you just try it. And you try it again, you go, oh, yeah, that's it, right? I want to take random steps, right? So I'm going to remind myself that I always reset things before I use them, okay? Then I'm going to say, what the heck did we say? Did we say, well, the reward wasn't negative, or did we just do an infinite loop and break out of it? We could do lots of stuff. Do an infinite loop? Yeah, let's do an infinite loop. That sounds like a good idea. So while true, which means absolutely forever. No, it's not new because we're using a matrix, so we need a numeric. Last time we used sample. Sample says north. Sample n says 0. Okay. Okay. So what do I need to do? I need to tell the maze to take a step, right? Like that. Okay, that seems okay.
Right? Then what do I need to do? What am I trying to accomplish? I'm trying to get to
The goal. And how would I know if I got to the goal? I get a reward of 1, right? And what function returns the reward? So you're almost right, and observe is the variable we're going to put it into. But, yeah, we just did it up here, remember? We just looked right here, step. Step returns values, right? So my code needs to remember those values. We usually say there's an observation, there is a reward, and I might be done. Now before
Go on, is it clear to everybody that that's going to take the 3 values and put them into 3 variables?
because that's a weird Python thing. A lot of languages don't do that. Okay? Right? So I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to do what you suggested, which is if the reward is greater than 0, I'm done, right? So I'll break, right? Oh, you know what else? We probably had to first of all say, if the game's over. Did we say that?
Yeah.
I think we probably did. I don't really know. But if the game is over, if the reward isn't greater than 0, what do we need to do to play again? Mm-hmm. Yeah. We got to reset the thing to start over.
And done is if you fail or if you win.
Yeah, so when an episode is over, a machine learning environment says, you tried something and your attempt is now complete, but it doesn't tell you why. So in some environments, you run out of time, you run out of gas, you run out of room, you ran out of something. And it's like, sorry. Sometimes it just lets you only iterate a certain number of times, so it doesn't run forever. Now, if I run that, what happens? It won't say anything, that's for sure. Right? It ran okay, right? What's the easiest thing I can do to see whether this is working? What did we do? What did we do? What did we do last time? Like, what were we trying to measure? Yeah, exactly. So how about if I put like a step count, here, right? Oh, my screen went away. That's not good. How about if I toss the step counter there, right? And then every time I take a step, what do I do? Well, that's easy, right? And then down here, and assuming we fixed whatever bug we had the first time around, we're going to get a number. There we go. That's kind of like 4,096-ish. Huh?
Yeah, we had some really random ones.
Yeah.
We got like 10.
Now, what's it going to take? What is it going to take for me to use what we just talked about to remember the rewards? I'm not going to worry right now about repeating them. I just want to remember them. I want to say, where did all those steps go? I took 8,254 steps. Where did I go? Where did those steps go, right? Yeah? So does anyone remember, not you two, the dimensions of the three-dimensional array? What did they represent? So I'll start off easy. The first 2 dimensions, the thing that's 4 by 4, what does that represent as we find our way through? Yeah, rows and columns, our position in the maze, right? And the third thing represents what? What was the sneaky thing? The cube. Why do we need a cube? It's the action that we took. It's the direction that we went, right? Okay, well, that's fine. So my rows and columns are, we're going to call that our state, okay? I don't know what I just had. It'll come back. Hold on. Oh, guys. How did that happen?
It wasn't able to save before, and so it probably just saved now.
Oh, that's so sad.
Connected, and so it reset. Do you want me to put my screen up there? But you have it?
No, I'll bring it back.
He is a code wizard. What am I even saying?
I just want to make sure, is it saving now?
Same,
Save
nothing.
changes over the top.
Okay, take a 2-second break.
Now we're not seeing which screen matters right now.
Yeah, thank you. That's just because I wound up switching tabs.
We just keep adding one, it keeps adding one, and then the first section.
Where'd you get it from, Vince? I was looking at
Thanks. I thought about that. I think I can live without it. Oops.
Every process would need the loop before I could input another thing.
Oh, we're back. Good. Your time, good. Okay, so guys.
Oh, mine also just starts typing.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. I think we're back there.
Oh, I know.
All right, Oyster River team, here we go. So now what I need to do is I need to make that array, right? And I need to put some numbers in it when something happens. So for starters, I'd like to just remember the reward, right? Because every single time I make a bad step, it's -1. And every time I make a good step, eventually it's +1. And everything else is 0, right? So let's try to put those rewards in a safe place. So I think the command that we used to make the array was this. And I'm going to call it Q, OK? Because we're doing Q learning, so that's the conventional thing to call it. That stands for quality, and we'll discover why in just a couple minutes.
I have a question. Is zeros going to work with an E?
What does that mean?
Will zeros work if I put an E in it? Because I put an E in it earlier, but Emily didn't, hers worked, so I fixed it, just changed it.
You put an E, the numeric constant E?
No, zeros. Zeros is the letter E.
Oh, I don't know. Now, it depends on what the NumPy people did. I don't know.
Because that's the thing is, Emily's I did it without an E.
Works without it.
Wait, there's another E in 0?
I wouldn't need this.
I don't know how to spell.
OK, guys, so,
Leo, how do you spell zeros?
C-E-R. Oh, it's
guys, I don't know how to spell zeros. This works. Let's use this.
Mine works. Wait, does mine work? Oh, no, it does not.
You forgot all that.
OK, so guys, I need 3 indices to get into that array to put the reward in the right place. The row, the column, and the action that I took. Where am I going to get the row and the column?
Wouldn't that be from the M dot step?
Yes, absolutely.
Or I guess observation.
It is, you said that exactly correctly. It is the observation returned by m dot step. That's exactly correct. Okay? Also, this is a bit of a detail, but my original reset also returns an observation, and I might need that because I want to know where I was, not where I wound up. So I'm going to use where I was, right? And then I'm going to swap in where I wound up. So just to make that super clear, I'm going to call the place where I was my state. That's my where I am in the thing. And the observation will become my next state. You'll see it in a sec. Okay? And the action that I took is this thing, right? Unfortunately, that thing was generated at random. So if I stick it over there, I don't know what it was, right? That's just some bad programming. Let's fix that, right, by simply calling it action and putting it out here. That's better. And in here, I don't want to take another random draw. I want to use the one that I've identified. Let's just see if that runs at all. It does. Okay. So here's the magic, right? I've got to go inside of Q, right? And for now, let's take my state. I'm going to guess, and I'm going to look at it closely with you in a second. It's probably state of 0, state of 1, because that's my row and my column. Okay? And my action. And I'm going to say it's, for now I'm going to actually do it badly. I'm going to make it equal to my reward. Okay? I should probably add up the rewards, because I'm going to try this thing more than once. But just for now, I'm just going to try this. Now, we're going to come back and talk about that line in a minute after we see if it works, because that's a little complicated, okay? The last thing I'm going to do is once I make note of what happened, I'm going to say my new state is whatever step told me, wherever I wound up. So I'm at 0, 0. I make an action. I get a reward. I want to make that recording under 0, 0, right? And then next time around, I'm starting in a new place. This is as complicated as machine learning gets. That's it. Like, there isn't a whole big lot of code left to make that actually solve the maze completely. So if it takes a couple tries, don't worry, because it's confusing at first, okay? But I'm going to try it. And what I'm going to do down here, and I have no idea if it's going to run, is I'm going to say, I need to print my Q table, right? And it's not that So now, I don't know why my Q tables are not printing. I'll find out in a minute. I think we had a little different, we had a bad version of the underlying stuff because it's had 2 problems now.
Can you go back up to the code for a second?
Sure.
Yeah.
So what is putting the Q there?
Oh, that's what's your question?
When you put the Q at the bottom, what does that do?
That causes, that same as print key. That would be
Yeah. Like that.
Getting the error thrown at me from the Q line, the Q state.
You're getting an error thrown from here? You know, you can also try this, what I'm now going to call Emily style. That's a little easier to read, right? That still works.
Inserting random
But you can hop over here if you want with Max. Okay. So guys, I'm going to make one time change. And hey, you know what? Well, while I'm doing this, go under the hood to that big code block at the beginning and see what's the matter with print Q, if you can. I don't know what's the matter with Q.
You just mean like check the erase
So,
string method?
yeah, go in here, and there's a method called print Q. And between you and Leo, I'll bet you can get it to work. Because I don't know what's up with it. Right there, right?
Well, you can put your head right here.
Okay, so guys,
So what's wrong with
it just try it, and you'll get the picture. It doesn't want to print because these versions got crossed somewhere. I have a version up in GitHub that's probably fine. If you want to go to GitHub, Lotus Lab, it's probably fine. And you can just compare it from there. Okay? I don't know. Oh, because, wait, are you working off the notebook that we started today?
Yeah.
I have.
The only thing that's different between my code and your code is that I have an Elif reward is less than 0.
Might be really different.
But like, why?
I don't know. Put it up on the right screen and we'll look at it. Oh, yes, I put it in what I called Emily form. So NumPy is so ambitious. Hold on, one sec, check. NumPy is so ambitious, right? State actually is a little pair of numbers. It unpacks it and uses it twice. Because, yeah, it'll work either way. In fact, I did it both ways to show that it'll work either way. Because reading somebody's code and then looking at it in a slightly different form is like super frustrating, right? You're like, what happened to that? All right, so how are we? We're doing good. Okay, so we're at the halfway mark. If somebody can walk me through that, we'll take a break and we'll figure out what's the matter with print Q.
Plus equals award in my book. Did yours get the little guys?
Huh?
I bet you that's your Alex situation.
I don't understand the rules of that one.
That's the only one you had.
Hold on.
Yeah.
If reward is greater than 0, break. That seems okay. Else if reward is less than 0, corn, nice. Dot reset, which is a little weird because you didn't call reset. You just typed in the name of the function. So parens there might be a good thing. Now run it. Somewhat different.
Oh, there we go.
Now you're still not quite there. Those are big numbers.
That's a really large number.
Those are some big numbers. Okay. Well, you might be okay. You're okay. You're okay. What was I doing wrong?
You were just printing Q instead of doing print Q.
Oh, I was doing m dot print q instead. No, because it should have numbers
You
in
were
it.
just doing print.
No, 'cause it should have numbers.
That's a massive number.
Huh?
It makes them all
It's because number
Wait, is it static? Is the method static? Is it maze dot print q? I gotta look. I'll look in a second. Hey guys. Guys, you're 1 minute from taking a break. What do those numbers mean? Kind of. We'll make them pretty in a sec. Look at the top row. Where are the biggest numbers on that thing?
Big bad places.
Yes, bad place. That's true. But where are they on my picture? Are they at the top or the bottom?
Top left hand corner.
Yeah, and what is the top left hand corner? 0, 0. And what do you think 0, 0 move 0 is? Yeah, and what happens when you go up at the beginning?
Fail the step there.
Yes, it is. And why does it fail so much at the top?
because that's where it starts.
Right. And the way the maze is organized, of my possible first moves, how many end in failure? Out of 4 possibilities, how many end in failure? 2. And which 2 are those, judging by those numbers? Yes, the bad ones. The 407 and the what?
375.
Whatever it is, yeah. Now, why are the other 2 numbers 0? They never fail. And why do they never fail? Because from the beginning, what happens if you go east or south? No, east or south.
Sorry.
Nothing happens. You move, right? You can't possibly get a reward or a penalty there. They're zeros. Okay. And the next row's got numbers. They get smaller as you go down. Why do they get smaller in magnitude as you work your way down, conceptually? Everyone talked. Max, say something.
More accurate.
Well, it's more accurate in a sense. Why is it more accurate? The further down the map you get. No, you stop.
It didn't make it there as many times.
Right. It didn't make it there as many times because it was busy failing at the beginning, right?
Well, I've got a really fun
And
You're doing exponents.
Yeah, mine's a 0.
if you run it enough times, you'll get exponents.
Jack has like insanely low numbers.
I haven't seen
His
it.
top left is negative
It's
6.
It's negative 6, 0, negative 2.
Yeah, it's
Very low.
All right. Well, all right. Well, guys, here's what happened. Okay, I have a version of the maze that I crossed with some good version. I'm going to grab the good version off GitHub in a sec. So you have the old version. I must have put the old version in tonight's notebook because I was doing it quickly. I'll make sure we have something that works in a sec. Where is the positive reward in that picture?
There's a 1.
There is a 1, a plus 1. Okay, last thing before we take a short break. Why is there only 1 plus 1?
You only did it once.
Well, okay, that's kind of a silly answer.
You only succeeded once.
As soon as you succeed.
Getting better. As soon as we succeeded, we stopped. That's the conditional, right? Which line did that, guys?
The down line.
Yeah, so which line says if the reward's positive, I'm out of here? 11 and 12, right? All right.
Can you scroll so all your code's visible?
Yep.
So Michael, that error has to be compared numpy data types and non-numpy data types. Are there in or double equal?
Well, I think what really happened is before we went to the show, I revved the code. Could you just go to GitHub and go to /lowerslab and see what version's up there? Because I made some changes and I crossed them. That's all. Happens a lot.
This is the.
Don't go to CSTA. right? And just you can just pop open the maze. Because I did it in front of the people and did print Q. It was fun.
Yeah.
So take a scroll down there. Probably looks about the same, right?
Plug this into my copy of the notebook and see if it works.
You could, or I was just going to grab it and run it in Python, but whatever. Okay.
Oh boy.
Right. Yeah, it's changed.
No, no, where was that one? I can return all everything.
The entire array is a 4x4x4. It's not hard enough.
Mr. Smith posted home and graphic article. So that's illegal, you don't have to do it.
You know me to
I'm gonna do it. That's illegal, you don't have to do it.
On the windowsill upside down, maybe? Or just scrounge.
Yes. I can't really help you there. You wanna see the 4 pages?
Yeah, it works fine.
So I pasted the print Q code into.
Yeah?
Look at it, so you can say there.
That's okay.
Also, if you find the wrong answers, because I did it.
Mr. Oppenheimer was not. Can you turn around and
Oh, I'm definitely am.
stared at me?
Why do you feel that picture?
Has that feminine?
I don't like this one.
I thought Chris said, what did they do? How there's like 2 doors here on the left?
No, sometimes I just draw it out because
Does this sound bad, or
He
does
also
it sound
asked
like I'm
for
making
work
fun of her?
to be shown sometimes, so I was like covering my. Yeah, I guess that is.
The numbers on each. I'm not talking about the number, I'm talking about the array itself. The 4 different arrays.
Yeah, no, this is something like huge for the world.
Layers of the cube.
I want to know. How do you want
I think you're actually dumb.
I don't think I know what you're asking.
Thanks, yeah. I have a picture I take his keys.
Well, that's an interesting question. The easiest way is for me to share this one.
No, she said maybe it's like the people who love to say no to it. Because like then there must be no.
I know.
I said it.
But thank you.
Okay, but also,
See what Jen Max said.
hold up.
Well, I already killed my race. What more do I have to do? I think it's easy to
I wanted to yell, like I was sitting there in my kitchen and was sitting there like trying to not die. And I was yelling
Everything else is just okay. I just really I'm just like everyone else is
Yeah. He'll tell you the story. Okay, guys. Okay, guys. I get the award for worst programmer because I gave you the wrong source. It works now. My fault. So you can get the new code by going to the Discord and clicking on the link that I magically just posted. You guys get my award for best table ever, though, because you were talking about 4-dimensional arrays during the break. That's really good. Okay. So all this does is print 4x4x4 in a readable, legible form.
Wait, which code did you
I just posted a link. Yeah, I just posted a link that gives my notebook right here. Because for the rest of the night, you're going to work on your own, but here's what we're going to do. You ready? You ready? Okay. At this point, everybody should have this exact notebook now. It's called Copy of Maze Blank Slate, and you'll have to make you'll have copy of copy, right? Right here, after I do my little print Q, right, I want to start over and walk through the maze and not step on any negative spaces. Okay? I want to avoid negative spaces. So by any approach that you can imagine, you might want to try to find your way through, right? And one thing that you may or may not need, but it's the only hint I think worth giving, is that NumPy, which does literally everything, has this magic thing called argmax. Okay? So here's Q, right? If I want to know what the first, my experience of stepping off the first square, that's Q of 0, 0. Does that look familiar? Q of 0, 0, right? If I want to know which of these is not negative, I can do np.argmax of that. Whoops, that's not very good. And argmax says, what is the position of the maximum value? That's what it does. And I spelled it wrong. So if I want to choose something that's not negative, it says, hey, try choosing 1. Now, how did it do that? Let me just slow that down a little bit. I'm going to print Q of 0, 0. Whoops. And then my magical function argmax. All this stuff's in the big notebook, by the way. You don't have to remember any of it. It's all self-paced in there. Okay? So what it said was, oh, fine. You gave me some numbers. This is the 0th number. This is the first. This is the second. This is the third. Okay? The biggest number is the first number, because once it finds one of the biggest number, it stops. So it doesn't keep going. So it says, don't pick this. Don't pick that. Try that one. Okay? But there are other ways to do it too. Okay? But what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to keep our friend Q around. So you'll run this thing, and then right down here on line 18, the very next thing I'm going to do, right, is I'm going to reset the maze. And then here, I'm going to attempt some sort of strategy that tries to use this map to find its way. I'm here if you have questions, okay?
Back to your argument.
Hold on. Oh, there? No, it's down. I think if I say save, Gordon, I think that you can probably reload it from the Discord. Right? And actually, to make your life easier too, I can do I can do that.
This returns this.
Oh. What? Do you want my computer? Can you use it?
This Q00 returns the index of the.
You're a good kid for hanging up.
So consider -5, 67.
What? Yeah, go ahead. It's not here.
So returns the first 5 numbers.
You're trying to use the table that we've created, right, to walk through the maze, but use it to help you make good choices, Jaden. Use it to help you make good choices, Jaden. So you run the thing, right? It comes up with a 4 by 4 by 4. Huh? You can do whatever you want. It's yours. Well, then you have to initialize reward, that's all. I say while not done, if you can do that. No, then you have to just initialize done. Okay. I like your code better. Figure it out. What? No, you're not. So start by saying done equals false above the loop. Right. No, capital F false. Camel case false. Right. Then when you do the reset, you have to set done to false again. What? You still have to, if you're done, you still have to test for the positive reward to know to stop the whole thing. So this really can just be, if done and reward is less than 1, do that. And then you'll get the, you just type lowercase and. Less than 1, so you're looking for a 1, yeah. Go ahead, try that. Oops. Hi. I'm in the middle of a class.
It's so funny, dude.
I'll call you back later.
Often in general, the other videos are that bad.
Thank you for the heads up.
Natural talent.
I thought that was line 1. I thought that was line 1. What?
So you should work. Well, I was doing it the sort of easy way. Once Q is built, go down here and make a whole new loop. Right.
Oh, I want to build Q.
Yeah, we're going to build Q and then use it. We're going to next week. We're going to do it your way. I'm not going anywhere. Yeah, now you got to use Q to make your choices. You can just try to step the argmax and see what happens. Well, not done. Yeah.
But like, I got a break thing.
What happened?
Yeah, that might just be stuck on the board or something.
That's very possible. Let me see. Yeah, he's paying. Well, let's just read this. Reset. Wait, what? Okay. First of all, you wiped out the code that built the Q table.
What?
You got to keep the code that. Is this below? Oh, is the Q table built above?
Yeah.
Well, then if your line 3 is definitely going to slow you down.
Okay.
Because what does line 3 do?
Oh, built another one?
Out.
Oh, that's not good.
So it's okay to start over, but just don't mess with Q. They got to go run the one up above to get Q back.
Well, yeah, Q should be.
I type fast enough.
Okay, that's back. We're good.
Yeah?
Now let's try it.
All right. What's going on back there?
I have an idea, but like I don't know.
That's my favorite sentence.
I don't know.
The rest is just code. What's your idea? Tell me what your idea is.
Well, I'm trying to say like,
Yeah?
what was your idea? Like, if Q is greater than 0, then
Or if it's equal to 0, that's okay.
yeah. So I was like, if this is greater than this, then take the action step. You know? But I don't
Yeah, no, I see. Okay, so your idea, it's just the density of the Python that is slowing you down, right?
exactly.
But here, let me start you off. So you reset your maze, right? Is your maze called ME?
Yeah.
Okay. Then at least we're going to start something like this. I'm going to make a little variable called done. And then I'm going to say while not done.
What do you mean? When you just print arguments.
In here, at least I can take a step.
Okay.
So you might try, observation,
Observation.
reward, done, equals me.step of something. And maybe based on Q. How's it going, Sophia? Yeah?
For this, I still don't get.
My hands were so cold.
Okay, pop it up here. It's pretty dense stuff. It's pretty dense. Put it up here. Why is yours still running? Because you put while true in there? That could do it?
It was a break. Not me, stop my prints and no.
Maybe the reward's never positive?
Well, it's gotta be positive. At some point.
I think you should question that premise. So on the second pass, once Q is built, right, you don't have to go through it once. You can just say, while it's not done, do a thing. And then you can print every step and see what it's doing, right?
And then every once in a while you're excited.
That's not you, right? Okay, pop it up. Oh, I'm sorry. Go Chromecast. So go to cast, the cast menu.
You want to look at mine? I have hold annotated.
Over under this little three thing. Under those 3 little dots hiding under there. Way up here, those 3. Yep. There's something called cast.
Like grab, but we have a
Okay. And then you're going to get screen right, so just, you have to hit it twice. Hit screen right, and that'll kill theirs, and then hit it again. Okay. Yeah, you're going in the right direction. Can I see what happened up above?
Ask Sam. Sam has a super annotated copy. Mine had to. That's Sam.
Okay. So when you run all of this at this step, Q has everything in it, right? Then you reset the environment, then down here you got to try to use Q to make steps, to take steps.
I don't know what one of the projects.
So down below, right? So the first part of the program makes Q and fills it full of numbers. And then down here, you got to try to use it by resetting the maze and then trying to make steps that don't give you negative numbers.
That's just the story. After resetting it,
Oh, I see. Okay. But you can't do it all in one line. At the very least, you got to do it in a loop. You can actually put it in there, right? So for starters, right? I'm not sure what Leo's up to. For starters, you'd want to make a little loop, right? Here, let me help you. I'm going to type it in the magical right place, okay? We could probably work in here if you want. You might want to say something like, you know what? What's your maze called? Hmm? Oh, good, okay. env.reset. I like the fireworks are killing me, right? Done maybe equals false. Then while not done, in there you got to take a step. Not unlike the way you took the step up above. Where is step up there? There it is. Obs reward done equals step of something.
It's pretty accurate.
What is it?
I'm like, how deep do you think you have to know?
And you took a step.
Because Riley Hayes was like, shift, cannon, blank.
Yeah, and you print M, and what happens?
100 times.
Yeah, so I did the state.
Riley Hayes.
They turned like
a photo of the house. Basically, they did the history of the
Is it jumping back and forth? What's it
the
doing?
entire history. Every single moment.
Oh, because I reset my run.
Yeah, they're just like, this ship went here, this ship went here.
Yeah, that is nice.
Is this someone's project?
I think ours is the best. Ours is definitely the best.
Where did it go?
I'm just crashing.
Just one, really? Go back to your code.
Me,
I don't think it can be just one.
Power grid.
You might want to stop the
Power, I
code.
think I know the power.
Action is the argmax of Q of state action. What state's not set there, though?
Hey, hey.
You want to do state equals m dot reset
I
for
will
sure.
buy you a coffee. You want a coffee? I'll buy you a coffee. I'll make up for that.
Yeah, state equals, that'll get you your initial state. Did you crash it? Oh no! Hit the reset button. What? Ubuntu. Now you got to kick the machine. When you're about to progress.
I'm like, okay, the full weekend I'm gonna do it. Guess what? My entire friend decided to.
Huh? Is it working?
And my grandma comes home from New York. That one weekend.
Is yours working?
And I literally told them, I'm like, I can't talk to you. And they're like, why, you just don't care about us? So they're like, walk in my room. Yeah, and then we have to go.
So guys, wait. Does it solve it or does it go in loops? I'm not even sure.
it solves. I got a 1.
You got a 1? No, it's got to take 7 steps.
I had a volunteer, so I didn't have
Hold on a second.
I talk a lot when
That's okay. Yeah, go ahead. Screen
You want to be on mic? I mean, if you're on mic, I'll say it. Oh, dude, I'm going to do that. Because I love mountains.
Well, what happens when you run that?
Like, I'm shooting my own.
I'm doing it for the benefit of
You really couldn't do that? I'm so good that you showed up one day and now it's still running. I still think I
Yeah, it's going to run forever, I think. So here's what I want you to do. Inside your loop, after line 24, print the maze.
I was literally shooting the court today. I was like 50% average.
Yeah.
Not like 3 taking shots.
No, just print. Just use print.
Didn't hit a shot.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I just have like,
Uh-oh.
I don't know what
Yeah, that's what I thought was happening. Oh, it's just going back and forth between those two spots, right?
I think so. Yes, that's not going. You're very close to a solution, right? I don't particularly have a solution, right? What I kind of intuitively want to do is I want to pick randomly between the ones that are 0. You know what I mean? All I want to do is pick a move, and if it's negative, pick again. Because by using argmax, which I asked you to do, it's getting in a situation where it's just going back and forth. So rather than using argmax here, right, this is easier to type than say. Let's do an experiment. Ready? Okay.
I'm ready.
I know, I'm ready too. Q of state, you want to pick among Q of state, right? So I would say that action equals. How would I pick one randomly from Q of state? How big is Q of state?
4, right?
But then wouldn't it not know?
No, hold on now.
Well, isn't state 2 things, so is it 6?
Yeah, you just like stand there, right?
Well, let's just pretend I don't even know that. You're right. Let's play by the
Oh, yeah, we
rules,
gotta
right?
practice that game.
So hold on. M dot, what is it, sample n?
Yeah.
Let's do that. Okay.
Did you work more aggressive?
But
I
then
feel bad every time I'm like, I pray that your shift is short. Have a good day.
while
That's what I said to people. I feel bad.
Q
Dude,
of the thing I'm about to do, what's the thing I'm about to do?
the most depressing thing is like,
You got to do the typing.
people really there for their
You have to start by saying action equals m sample n, right?
So what was the first part? Experiment?
I want an action that's just a sample action. Yeah, take a sample action. Okay. Nice. Then while Q of state of action
I personally don't.
is less than 0, in other words, while I'm doing something stupid, colon, right? Do it again. Action equals m sample n. Just say, I don't want that one. Like, that one's not a good one. You don't need line 23 at all. It's not doing anything. Okay? Get rid of line 23. Now, in English, what does that say? The part that we just conjured up.
While Q at the index of state action is less than 0, it's going to keep checking.
It's going to sample, sample, sample until it finally finds one that is at least not negative. Right? Okay, run that.
And 4 of them are just leading on.
I had to restart my mind.
That's okay.
For Mr. Fletcher,
I've had that experience many times.
What position are you going to play? Are you going to go like...
I don't know. I'm like very much in the
It's still
middle.
stuck where
Same.
Because like there are
Huh?
some outlier cases
Really?
for like the woman's affluence in relationships and things.
Yeah, but,
Is it really still running?
yeah, I'm gonna say, since you're playing the devil's advocate, I'm gonna play the devil's advocate too, Mr. Fletcher. That's how I'm gonna do.
How is it running but not printing? Oh, go back to the top. Did we put a stopping condition?
Yes.
Being blatantly what?
Something bad, as in sexist or racist or everything.
I know, I'm not trying to.
Take the action.
And Mr. Fletcher's experienced that much.
So do me a favor. Take out line 16. Take out line 29. Run it again. Just because it's making too much. It's too much to look at,
People are like,
right?
We were talking about the N-word and then I think finding the person the F-word.
What happened?
I don't think you'll ever see this again.
What is it? How did that possibly happen?
honestly, my perspective is, I just want to give it.
No. No
I
way.
just try not to get rid of it.
Look how few
Nothing
times.
like really affects me.
The odds of that are just like ridiculously small.
I feel like if you were part of that community.
Well, you know why? Because I think I keep having this erroneous runtime. I think that's my fault. Look at reset for a sec. No, it resets for resetting. Leo, I can't even imagine that happens. The odds of that are. You're a weirdo. Does your code find the answer?
Dude.
You can't use argmax because it's going to loop.
I thought of what I said was pretty clever.
Well, I was trying to get it to.
Yes, there's, yeah, you're.
Really?
It seems to be taking, so I printed the action as well.
Yeah.
It's taking action 0, but it should be doing argmax. The position knows action 0 is -1. So I don't know why it's doing it.
So just on a separate cell, do np argmax of 0, 0 and see what it tells you.
I'm just gonna print.
Yeah, you can print. It's Python. You can print m comma thing comma thing.
I know, but I want to.
Yeah, go ahead. Keep looking.
So sometimes it's working, sometimes it's getting stuck in a trap.
Does it succeed sometimes?
It's succeeding sometimes, and sometimes it's getting stuck here again.
You would think that it would eventually sample the 3, then the 2, then the 1, and back out.
Apparently not.
So print the action.
Where should I print it?
Huh? Just whenever you, after that line, yeah. No, not inside the while, yeah, print action. And just see if you're in that state, are you printing the same action over and over?
So what it should be, because I set this equal to this thing, they're
Yeah.
the same thing,
Yeah.
which is what you would look for in a program.
Yeah.
So that's not.
What's it doing?
I think like her standard is like everyone needs to have.
So you said the action is argmax, right? And at 0, 0, it's giving you action 0?
Q at state action.
Uh-huh.
You wanted a Q at state?
Oh, yeah, you don't want action in there.
Because that would feed it 2.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right. But and NumPy, trying to be helpful. Yeah, run it.
How can do argmax in a single space? I don't know.
It does. It's always the same. So now where did you go?
I don't know what it did after. Why didn't it move back?
Because argmax. Oh, argmax should have said the only 0 is that way. Print it out and look at it. The state and the action for every single step. It stops printing stuff. That's kind of sad.
Okay, so then what happens there? Like if it gets stuck and there's nowhere to go, do you reset the base?
Well, no, I would have thought if it got here, argmax or sample would eventually send it back here. And I don't.
It should send it back there every time because you can't step up, right, or down.
But Leo has the exact same mystery.
I'm not having this problem.
What, yours working? How are you doing? How are you guys doing back here? It's kind of a crazy question. Yeah, it's hard because it's pretty dense. If you haven't done a lot of Python, even if you think of what to do, it's going to be hard to express.
I'm used to Java.
Yeah, it's very different, right? It's very, very different. So what I'm going to do over the course of the next few days is over the Discord, I'll post notes that show step by step how to get there. But conceptually, you want to pick an action where the value in the array is 0, right? And there should be more than one way to do that, right? An example of a way to do that would be to say, look, I'll just pick a sample action, but before I use it, I'll check the value. If the value is negative, I'll just sample again. I'll just sample over and over until I get something that gives me a 0, and then I'll do that. I'll take that action. That ought to get you somewhere, right? Another way to do it is to say I'll use argmax to say just get me the thing that's the best thing. I'll do that. It's not perfect because you conceivably could wind up bouncing back and forth, right? So that's not really. We'll learn how to avoid that. How are you doing that?
I'm stuck with the same.
Right. Now I'm not sure why we're not getting past that. Amelia, were you getting past that?
Really fast. So my problem is like,
So she has a while not done. Well, done one
really
done
gonna
now.
max, and I'm really gonna do one,
Yeah,
so
well,
0 is my best.
It's never changed from the time we did one time. Well, now I'll see if it's just printing the table.
I'll tell you my problem.
Well, why is this freezing here?
But I'm really good at memorization.
Okay. What can we do to find out?
We're starting to
I mean,
It just takes the first thing to print action. So it's essentially, it's probably, I think it's getting stuck in with a while loop is my assumption.
so it's sampling forever,
There's so much you gotta remember in different.
right?
What do you say?
It's sampling forever?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Oh, it's sampling forever. Well, it's sampling forever from what what's the last state it was in?
If I was in cancel.
So do me a favor, right?
Yeah.
Instead of printing M, print state at the bottom of the loop, so we know the last state we're in before we freeze up, right? And the next thing I'm asking you to print is Q of state, right? And just inspect it. Just say. So you got to 2, 1, and then what happened? You got stuck, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now don't just print state and print Q of state.
I really want.
And by the way, print action. Q of state, and then also print action. So how the heck are we
Should I
never...
get rid of this part up here then?
Sure, yes. Yeah, try that. Now, I see why it's failing. They're all negative.
Yeah, I don't know how they're getting set to all negative. They shouldn't be.
Well, why don't you, up on line 17, why don't you do a print Q? Yeah. Yeah. I don't see how they can all be, how would you get in that space? You'd be surrounded by negative. What happened?
I don't know. It got caught in the loop, but now it's printing.
I don't know. Keep trying.
Hold on. It got caught in the loop, but now this time it decided to print it.
You might want to just say reset the kernel, right? Under runtime.
What did you say?
Under runtime, you might want to reset the kernel.
Wait, hold on, we're almost there. There we go. With enough aggressive scrolling.
Well, you got to use print Q though, because I can't read that thing.
Should I just?
Although look, I just saw the row.
Should I just try running it again?
If you're feeling courageous,
Oh,
sure. Okay. You're in space 2, 3, and that has a 0, right?
It also has a 1 though.
It has a 1. Oh.
But the one above it also has a
No, you solved it. Didn't you solve it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Why didn't it work that time?
Because it didn't get caught.
Okay, we solved it that time.
We got caught.
Yeah, why is that all negative numbers?
I think it's doing that.
Yeah, hang on. I don't understand how this row got created. So go back to where we created and see whether it's really happening. What's going on?
You don't get too astronomically low.
No. Something's not right for sure. Go look at your code.
I didn't do any logic.
Huh?
There's no logic in here.
Well, we make a maze, right? We zero things out.
Reset. Make Q. False. Well, not done. Send action to sample and observe done.
Oh, yeah, but no, it's not. This is Q of state action, then state of state equals obs. I don't know. It looks okay.
That's the same one, but just but you don't get too
No, it's possible that there's something the matter, like under the hood, right? In maze. It can only be a problem with reset, though.
You know what I wanted to submit for one of those word contests, and I want to win, and
I only noticed it now.
Oh, like when
Oh my god, no, it's because
Yeah, I don't know how 2, 1 is getting all
it was my birthday.
It's okay, though. That's totally in bounds. That's fine. Well, also, sometimes you want to reset the kernel, right? Like, if you're hitting, it's a web thing. You're hitting go, go, go. Like, reset the kernel, run the whole thing from the top. Right? Just to make sure nothing bizarre is happening.
where's she even going?
Using argmax, right?
Where are you going to go?
Yes. Yeah, well, ultimately we do it all in one place. So, but listen, you know what I think you might want to try?
Can we backprop by solving it?
Instead of argmaxing, use a sample. And then if the sample negative result, don't take that step. You know what I mean? Say, hey, just give me a move. Oh, I'm just going to peek in the Q table. Is it negative? Give me another one. Is that one negative? Give me another one. Oh, that one's okay. Yeah. See what I mean, Jack? So basically, I'll just take a random move, but I'll say, if I've seen that this random move is a bad idea in the past, give me another random move. Give me another. Oh, this one's okay. No argmax at all. So what you're going to want, action equals m dot sample n, right? Then you're just going to peek. So m dot sample n, underscore n, paren. And then on the next line, right, if Q of state action, yeah, is less than 0, is less than 0 if it's negative. And then hop in, right, and just repeat the line. Do just action equals sampling again. Wait, 1 second. 2 people talking. Go ahead.
I can explain it.
Hold on a second. Huh?
I got like 95 on quiz. I got like 95.
Did you?
Take a different.
What happened? What happened in your rank?
One Spanish and one English thing. All my grades like 95 on the button. All my grades were like nowhere near that. All my
Yeah. And I don't understand why it doesn't sample and go back.
That just stopped. Does it only try twice?
No. Let me see.
If Q action, but it just tries again.
It should try. Oh, while Q action is less than 0. While Q action. Sorry. That's a bug. Try that. See, that's what's happening to them too. They're getting stuck in that spot. No, it's not though. It's stuck. So look at your Q table, right? What state were you stuck in? 2, 1, right? So go read 2, 1 on the Q table and see what it says. Yeah, see, it's got all negative values. That seems wrong, right? Right. Okay, guys, hold up for a sec.
I'm so stuck.
Right. No, but you're not stuck. Something's wrong. Well, because are your Q values legit right here? How can they all be negative?
I don't know. It's impossible. You should always be able to step back to the location where it came from.
It feels like it should be impossible, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So apart from, all right, so we'll take a look at the maze and see if it's flaky. In terms of ideas, right? What are you working on? What's my back table? Oyster River. What are you doing back there? What idea are you chasing? Many ideas is a good answer. That happens to me all the time. We're seeing some behavior up here that I'm wondering if there isn't a problem too with the way the maze is working. Which we've been using it for 2 years. It's been fun. But we messed with it before the show. Maybe I changed that before we showed it to a bunch of computer science teachers. Maybe something's wrong. But the idea that you guys are working on is legit. Okay, should work, which is the following. Take a sample action, random action, but before you actually take the action, look at the table, and if that action is negative, don't take it. Take a different sample action, right? Not very efficient, but it should avoid bad things. The other one is to use argmax to say, look, just get me the biggest number. That's not perfect, though, because you might wind up in a position where you go from, you start here, you go south, then you go north, you go south. Those are both zeros. And you might go north and south. Did you guys experience that? You might go north and south a lot of times. All right, that's fine, because this is where we want to leave it, because over the course of the week, if you have any time, play with that. I will post an update on the Discord, okay, of the approach that you guys are working on working. So if there's something wrong, I'll pick it up and see what's going on, okay? But there's lots of ways to do it, right? You could actually look and just find the zeros and then iterate. You could say, I'm only going to take actions that have a 0 and walk through them, right? Anything else back there? No? It's okay. That's all right. You guys? It's not unlike what you were trying to do during last week. It was very close, right? All right. All right. I will see you in a week. Watch the Discord, okay?